This is going to be terrible quality here for about 40 seconds. Play with me here. We are applying glyphosate on the traditional double crops here. 44 ounces of Roundup to kill volunteer weed, butterprint, and all that stuff. So this is 15-inch beans, disced twice after we harvested 7.5-inch wheat. This field, both this field and this field was drag lined with the same amount of manure in the fall. And out ahead of me is the relay field. We'll get out here and shut her off. We'll talk about the differences here. Get away from the motor, you'll hear me better. So we're out in August 3rd, 6 weeks past summer solstice. See, our beans are still yet to get to reproduction. So that's the biggest waste in this system, is all those days around summer solstice. You've got 15-hour days. Those days are used to dry down wheat and eventually germinate a seed, and you lose 5 weeks of photosynthesis or so. So that field ran out of gas. The wheat in itself, from a warm winter and a lot of rainfall, lost nearly all the nitrogen from the manure. This field had 0 nitrogen added to it. We used the radishes as weed control. That field took twice the amount of dicamba to clean up the carpet of henbit, another problem with manure application. So we used the radishes here to suppress the weeds, to store the nitrogen in the manure, and the radishes make more plant available nutrients available to the soybeans. So the soybeans could now follow those roots of the radishes. And I'm standing here at the bottom of a field that was never drowned out, even through the 30 inches of rain that we've received this spring. So you look at that field with not one bloom, and you compare that to this field with beans. Any plant that I rip out, it's just full of pods. We've got 18 to 20 nodes, and this is a group 4 bean, and we're still blooming up top, still blooming on the nodes, making more pods. So we're just extending this life as solar capture using 3 different plants after manure application. So let's talk about seeding rates. This twin row of wheat here, you see the thatch. This took 450,000 seeds of wheat. We leveraged the manure through tillering. Those tillers could capture sunlight. The tillers became viable heads. That field over there was planted about 1.2 million. We usually plant about 1.8, but we could leverage a little bit of tillering there. But all those tillers became thatch at the bottom. They didn't have enough energy to reach that top tabletop for sunlight. So these beans are planted crossways. As you can see, these are the 36-inch tram line I'm standing in, where we made that dicamba application and a few foliar applications and fungicide to keep the plant health up and keep this plant alive and cranking. So, economically speaking, we have less cost involved in this field right here, but we used all these different observations to leverage and lower seeding population, take out added nitrogen, increase our weed control effectively. You see, we've got hardly any weed pressure other than some volunteer wheat that's coming on here. So when we talk about all these problems with dicamba, I was a landscape contractor for years and years after college, and we would never spray dicamba after April. We have all these things that can go wrong as we heat up, we get volumization and so on. But we can use dicamba in this system with that canopy backing up the shortstop, if you will. So we applied the dicamba in early April. The beans locked it shut, so by the time that chemistry started to run out of gas, if you will, we had the canopy to lower the weed pressure. So everything is a slight compromise. We gave up about 15 bushel of wheat in this field compared to the 7.5 inch wheat, but we're probably going to, if we're lucky, get 30 to 35 bushel beans out of that field, and this field should be flirting with 60, maybe 70 if we get some late rains to really fill up this bean size. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. It's rough as hell going across the field there. This just leverages the entire calendar, gets sun capture in the fall, uses manure to tiller, and we get soybeans that have a lot more time for reproduction. In the end, you get a lot more productive bean plants, and I'm really excited to see where these suckers will yield. They surprise me every day. You know, they're not quite as tall as the monocrops, but there's no prize for tall soybeans. If we can get them short, we can stay aggressive late and feed them, and they won't get rank, and we just stack the nodes, stack the pods, and so on. So anyway, thanks for watching. We're going to scale this up next year. We're going to start investing in some mechanisms that will lower harvest damage, make this a little bit easier of a system to scale up. Thank you.